Hello and welcome to Jeremy's Yorkshire Allotment Adventures on what is just becoming a wet day. It's starting to rain, so we'll head off inside the greenhouse, and today we're going to go back to basics yet again. What seeds can you put in to start growing at this time of year? Well, we'll have a look at some that I've got, and I'm growing a new one this year again, as well as some old favourites. So we'll take a look in a short while. As I say, once again, welcome to the show, and hello and welcome to all the new subscribers. Thank you as well for all the lovely comments, and we'll have a look at a few of the comments towards the end of today's show if I can work out how to do it. But I'm sure I can. Well, it's great to have you on board, and welcome to all the new subscribers. And yes, we're going back to basics here on Jeremy's Yorkshire Allotment Adventures. Well, here I am inside the greenhouse, and lucky to have the cover on it because it is really raining out there. Now, back to basics, as I say. What seeds can you sow now in preparation for, well, transplanting them out later on in the season? Well, lots and lots of things actually, more than you expect. So, I've planted today, we've got some broccoli seeds, and they go in between now and June. You can just keep rotating them, so then you've got a really good supply. It's always a good idea when you're planting the seeds to do them regularly. Don't just bung a lot in like I've done here. So I've got my tray here, there's 40 pots here, and so that's the first stage. I've got another 40 pots and then lots more. So over the next few weeks I can put them in at intervals, the same type of thing. So broccoli now, and then maybe broccoli in 2 weeks time, and the rest of the season 2 weeks time. So you get a good supply over the next coming months, and you can rotate your crops. So when one's ready, you can chop that off, and more will come. It's a good idea, isn't it? So yes, I'm sowing broccoli in here. A favourite of mine, and I know it's not a lot of people's favourites, but Brussels sprouts. You have to be really careful with Brussels sprouts. They are easy to grow. They really are, but you really have to stake them down or put them where they're going to not get disturbed by any winds, because they don't like to be disturbed. They like their roots firm in solid ground. So once they get big enough to transplant into the soil outside, then you have to firm them down with your feet and make sure it's almost, I suppose, like concrete in the ground, and make sure they've got really good stakes, because soon they get a little bit of movement, then you might think, well, I've got hundreds of sprouts coming, but they start to blow and they become like open flowers. And once that starts, you can't stop it. You've got to get it in first. So I'm having a go at sprouts again. I love, oh, they're not sprouts, this was sprouts. I'm going to go at sprouts again. And well, we'll take a look at the seeds actually. So these are the sprout seeds. They're rather lovely, aren't they? And well, let's go back and we'll look at the broccoli seeds. Aren't they great? Now, I've not yet put my onions, and I know you can buy onion sets. They're a lot easier, but I like the challenge. I like to try and do it from seed. And you can sow these in January and February, so we're into February now. I'll put those in the next set of pots, and fingers crossed, if they fail, I can always cheat and buy some already grown onions. They're really, really difficult to grow, but it's worth having a go. I like a challenge. I've got some lovely cauliflowers in, and they can January, February, into March. You can sow these into pots like I'm doing here, and brilliant. Now, two plants. One is a new one that I've not grown yet ever, and the other is one that I grew last year, and I'm hoping to have more success this year, because I didn't quite understand it last year. I had them, I grew them, they did come, but not big enough. So the first one I'm going to try and grow this year are melons. Yes, melons. I have greenhouses, why not? And get some heat on them. Although they do like to be outside too, in real sunshine. But these, I think, will go in my greenhouse where we had the loofahs last year and where I had the butternut squash last year too. So they're in there. It says they're sweet and fragrant, these ones, and they're called Melon Imia F1. I've talked about F1 varieties before. Now, F1 means that I can't reuse the seeds that are inside the melons, because these are, well, man-made basically. They're made in a lab, they're treated, all sorts of disease resistant, all those things, but they're a hybrid, F1 hybrid, and so you can't re-sow the seeds from the plants. You need to buy brand new seeds for next season. So F1, keep an eye out for it. So I think sometimes a lot of people sow seeds from So pumpkins you've grown, or even melons and all the things, but they don't grow and you get really frustrated. That's often why the hybrids don't retake. However, end of story. Now, last year, as those that were with me and those that weren't with me, well, you can look back at some of the videos. We had a go at growing loofahs last year. I've always wanted loofahs. Now, when I told my daughters about a loofah, they didn't know what I was on about until I showed them the one in the bathroom. Yes, the one you scrub your back with and your feet and whatever you want to scrub with. They're naturally organic fruits or vegetables. You choose. I'm not getting into that argument. So I bought some more. In fact, here's a photograph, and they're beautiful seeds. They do look like, of course, pumpkins. They look a little bit like melons. And the melon ones, well, look, this is a melon. They're really, really small. And in fact, we'll come back to the melons in a minute. And these are the loofahs. Now these, as you can see in the picture, are little beautiful black seeds. And well, what you have to do with these, I can't sow these straight into the soil today. So what I'm going to do, take them in the house with me later on and pop them into water overnight. And then that'll just absorb all the lovely moisture into the seeds. And then we can put them in here, which should give them a good start to life. Now, it says about 15 seeds in here, and you put 2 seeds per pot, which would be lovely, and then obviously pick them out, the best one. It says you can have 2 of these per grow bag. So when you have your tomato grow bags, you can have 2 plants per grow bag. So we'll keep an eye on that this next year. Maybe I grew too many too close, we'll have to see. But this year, these loofahs are going to be grown outside in my sunniest position on the allotment, so they get plenty of sun. The thing I didn't realise last year is they also need a massive length of growing season, 200 days. So that's almost towards the end of the year. So they're going to go in now of 200 days, hopefully. Let's have 200 days of sunshine. It won't happen, but no, let's have quite a lot. It will really help these. And what's the beauty about loofahs is it has its own zipper on the side. The part where it's growing onto the plant, when that comes off, it peels across from the top. You get hold of it and they'll dry themselves on the vine. And apparently all you do is you zip the side down, comes with a ready zipper. It never worked last year, they weren't big enough. So fingers crossed this year we'll be able to zip them out and they just fall out. They're all wet and moist, you put them in the water, get all the seeds out of them, and then you dry them and hang them up. And then you have your own loofah. So fingers crossed we have some beautiful loofahs next year. Now, let's just go back to the melons. It also applies to pumpkins and all those sorts of plants. So pumpkins and melons, you have to put the seeds onto their side. And so the part of the seed is upright, basically, like this. And so the split is touching the soil both ways. Don't put them on their back. In fact, here's a photograph of the ones I did in here, and you see they're upright, and it really helps them to germinate. Brilliant, isn't it? Absolutely fantastic. Oh, it's exciting this time of year. Now, what am I going to do with this? Well, I need to put it either with a piece of glass or perspex on top of it. Well, I don't have any spare of that, but I do have a new spare bag. And I say a new spare bag because I bought myself, I've had a treat, a new cloche that's going to go outside. Here it is, and it's got little spikes on. It's 3 meters long, and that will really protect some of the seedlings that are going to go out later on, particularly if I put lettuce and things out, all the delicate plants. I don't want the birds around here to be getting hold of some of my vegetables and my fruits that I'm growing outside. So all you do with this then is you pop that inside the bag, which it sounds easier said than done. So that just goes in there, because don't forget, this is really heavy now. It's got all the plants in. I've done very well this year as well. They're all labelled. I bought some new labels. Now, as you can see, it's just fits. Look at that, absolutely perfectly. That can be put down there, and it doesn't matter at this stage if that's absolutely flat on top. That's going to go onto a heated mat, and that will just give it some generate. In fact, the heated mat's in there, so I'll put this back in there, turn the heated mat on, keep an eye on it, because we want it to dry out, because the mat can do that obviously, but we can spray this then with some water to generate its own little microclimate. In fact, pardon me, speaking of microclimate, as you know, a few weeks ago I put lots of seeds in a plastic box that had muffins in. Well, it's all happening. Here's a photograph. These are my lettuce, my mixed lettuce, and aren't they looking delicious? They need to get a little bit bigger. Excuse me. Need to get a little bit bigger, and then we can start thinking about when they get a few more leaves on them, we can get them back in here, and well, we can start transplanting them into little pots. I can't take a photograph of it actually, but down the side, only one so far of the peas has decided to sprout. I will try and get a photograph of that on the next show for you to see. It's just a magical thing. You can see it all bursting from the bottom to the top, and yeah, the roots going down and the stem is starting to come out. Really, really exciting. I love seeing nature work at its best. So I thought before we go to some comments for your viewers, actually this does tie in with one of the viewers' comments, and these are my potatoes that we've had, the lovely ones from the war, and these are of course chitting really, really nice. They've got some new shoots coming through and they're doing really, really well. Can't wait to get those in actually in the next coming weeks. Be fantastic. And that actually takes us to where are we? I'm reading this because obviously you're going to see the message and I'll read it out. Here we go. This is from Bristol Veg, and as you can tell, it says, I'm growing Charlotte again this year, but I'm also going to try pink fir, and hopefully I'll like them. Well, I've not heard of pink fir before, so I might have to look that up, but Charlotte, they're always a winner, and a really, really nice potato. Now, we're going to go over to Ali in Canada. Now, Ali's been with us virtually from the very start. We get loads of lovely updates from Ali. And Ali, we're talking about this compost here, weren't we? This core compost made from, of course, coconut husks and a byproduct. Well, you use it. It's someone that uses it, which is fantastic. And you say, Ali, that we use koi to sow the seeds a little bit like what I'm doing here, and then mix it with her compost as a filler to replace the peat. Yes, because I said it's really good as a peat replacement because it retains the moisture. Always a good thing. Ali, once again, thanks for joining us all the way from Canada. Well, we've got here, hello and welcome from my homestead in North Florida, USA. Happy gardening. Well, happy gardening back to you. What a lovely, lovely thing to say. We've got all sorts of different messages. I'll do a few more every week, so we'll try to get them in. It's great, as I say, to have you all on board. What's lovely is I've had quite a lot of messages about this coconut, this koi or core. People seem to love it and use it on a regular basis. And as I said last time, what I love about it is, after I've done all these seeds, when they come out, you can reuse them. And apparently you can reuse them up to 3 or 4 times because they keep their nutrients. Isn't that amazing? I've actually went out the other day and bought another set, but not for seed sowing, just for general use. It was on Facebook Marketplace and I got it for £6. So that's less than half price than a normal one. And well, it's got a little bit wet on the corner of the box. In fact, here's a photograph to prove it. But as we know, you dry it out and you reuse it again. In fact, it is dry, it's just expanded. So that will come out. And again, 75 litres of stuff that I can place anywhere I want because that is a compost booster. Well, once again, thank you very much for watching Jeremy's Yorkshire Allotment Adventures. Do you know, I've watched the video back the other day and I just can't stop touching this stuff. I better stop. It's really good to have you all on board. I'd like to say one thing though, and thank you to Darren in Wakefield for sending me a message and pointing this out. That during these videos, sometimes there's a break in the middle and you get an advert. The adverts are nothing to do with me. I don't get any money for them. We're not monetarised here on Jeremy's Yorkshire Allotment Adventures. And so I do apologise if there's a break in transmission. It has absolutely nothing to do with me. And I understand that a lot of these videos have nothing to do with gardening either. So, well, that's just how it goes. Once again, thanks for all your comments. Also, thank you to Steve from Derbyshire. You've been one of my contributors for a long time, and you sent me a lovely message about how you really enjoy these videos, and you did say to me, congratulations for keep going this long. As you know, we've been going ever since we had the lockdown here in the UK, and well, it will be, I think, 3 years this year. Isn't that amazing? There's thousands of videos that are online. Please go back, look at the back catalogue. There's all sorts of tips in there for hopefully you all to enjoy. As I say, great to have you on board, and hello to all the new subscribers. Well, I'm going to shut up, otherwise this will become an hour-long video and not between 15 and 20 minutes. I'll see you soon. Ta-ra for now.